Hi, welcome to the third week of these conversations about health and healing. And today I'm going to talk about what we left off last week towards the end. I mentioned a little bit about how living in harmony with what is. And I want to talk a little bit also about somatic practices. What is practice? What are these practices um, that are helpful for us every week, focusing on the body and what's happening in our bodies. Because being in our bodies is what helps us to be more present with what's happening in our environment, to be able to respond instead of react. So, I want to first start with a centering practice that you can start including in your weekly practices. And sometimes, when we hear this word about practicing, and you know, I say this because sometimes when I talk with clients, sometimes I mention practices, and they stay like something that I have to be doing, something else to add to my schedule. But let's reframe this a little bit. How can we look at practices from a different perspective? Um, when we you want to practice something, it's important to bring more awareness to it. So why am I doing this? If our why is bigger than on the doing and focusing so much on doing something else, add something else to my schedule, add something else to what I have to be doing every day, then it becomes overwhelming. It could become overwhelming, that I have to make time for one more thing. Instead of seeing a practice, a daily, something to choose very, very wisely, very specific. What is it that I can do that can support me more? What can I do that can help me to be more present with myself? And I think that's the optimum um, longing that we have to how can we be more connected with ourselves so that we can be more connected with others and our environment and the things that we do on a daily basis. So if we begin to see practices as a way of incorporating something that can support me in being more present, open, and connected with myself and what surrounds me, and a centering practice that helps us to ground more into the body, have a sense perception of our presence, of that we are here, that I am in this body, that that way this kind of practice of somatic practice of feeling our bodies more, being more in our bodies. I mentioned I call this coming home to ourselves. This sense of connection with ourselves helps us to be more in connection with others, with our environment, with what surrounds us, with what we care about the most, with what we want to be doing, with more vitality, with more energy, with more presence. I'm going to start today with a centering practice, and we'll go from there. So you can do the centering practice standing or sitting. I'm going to be standing, and you're just going to, just a nice loose stance. Let me make sure this volume is good. Just a nice upright position. I'll take my glasses off there. And this upright position, I think you can see me well there on the video. You can look away from the screen and just keep your eyes open and just kind of looking at the horizon a little bit, or a specific point or something in front of you. Just kind of just a soft vision to the horizon. Your body is easy, light, and just notice how it feels. Notice if there's any tension anywhere, and just kind of loosen it up a little bit, bring your attention, and just stand upright. And we're going to be sensing different parts of the body. Notice the ground that supports you, your feet on the ground. We belong to the earth. We belong to the ground that supports us here and now. We are present. Notice your breath. Inhale and exhale. And bring attention to your feet, to this ground that supports us, how we connect to the earth. Knees are soft. You can wiggle your toes and sense your feet. A lot of times we lose connection with the lower part of our body. We keep our focus so much on the head and the upper part of the body, and we forget to have sense perception in our ground, in our feet. And also anatomically and in the body, the feet are the ones that create balance for the entire physiology, for the bones to stay aligned. So it's important that we ground, that we feel the ground. And continue breathing. Inhale and exhale. Again, inhale and exhale. Feel the upright, the lengthening of your spine, and how this connects us to the heavens, to the sky, to the universe. As we come upright, it's also our dignity as we stand tall and open to the world, lengthening. And notice your breath. Now bring attention to your back, your spine, the back of your knees. Feel the clothes touching your back. And also the back is the history, the ancestors, everything that has come before us, all the support that we have gotten from others, teachers. They all stand behind us and support us. And now bring attention to the sides, to what surrounds us. So we're centering in length, depth, and width. In the width, we're connecting to what surrounds us. We have that sense perception of what's here now, what's in your environment, where you're standing. If there's any other persons in another room, animals, plants, living things. We connect in our width with what surrounds us. And notice your breath. Now bring attention to the front of your body, to the depth, your abdomen, where we process life in our digestive system. You can bring your hand in your lower abdomen, right below your belly button, and bring attention to this area. Our digestive system connects with what's ahead of us. It's always perceiving where we're headed towards. And we digest life as it occurs. We perceive our environment through our digestive system, through the centers of the abdomen. And just notice this area and the connection. Inhale into the belly and exhale. And just continue noticing the breath in the abdomen. And notice how your hand touches the abdomen as it rises and falls. As it comes out, touches your hand. And bring attention to your chest, to your heart. Where we perceive our emotions. And continue breathing. And have a whole perception of this centering, being present in your body. As the ground supports you, as the lengthening connects us to the universe, and our width connects us to what surrounds us. Through the arms, we reach out to the world, and we also receive towards us. If there's any tension in the shoulders, just bring them up and down. Your eyes are soft. Relaxing this band over the eyes. Notice if there's any warmth, any areas that are warmer, other areas that may be feeling cooler. Just bring your awareness to that. Just notice what's present. If there's any areas that feel numb, tingling. Do you feel strength in your legs, weakness? Do you feel more energy in your upper body, or disconnected from the lower body, more energy in the upper body? Just notice where the energy is flowing in your body. Knees are soft. And notice your breath. Okay. So that was just a little bit of centering practice, noticing, bringing awareness to the body, bringing awareness to sense perception, to what's happening in the body. If there's easiness, if there's tightness, how you're holding the tension, where. So you can include this practice, just exercise it if you can. It would be great if you could do it daily, maybe once a day. And it could help to bring more awareness to what's going on in your body. And it also helps to calm your nervous system as you become more centered and connected with yourself. So let's talk a little bit about this sense of practice and how it can support us through change. I mentioned a little bit when we first started how practices can help us to be more grounded and present and connected with what we're doing, with what we care about the most. So practices can support us through change. So it could be being with whatever is present, even if you are upset, if you are angry, just being present with that, noticing it, so that when we notice what is in the way of us being connected, then when we get to see it and that energy begins to have no force through you to reaction towards reaction, because you begin to see it. So then you have, when we see something, we have the power to change it. We can do something in the moment to just being with it, actually. Just being with whatever it is that's happening, just noticing it is enough for that energy to begin to dissipate and not take us over completely into a reaction that becomes unconscious. So we become more aware and conscious of what is happening, and we have the power to change. So in somatic practices, being centering is a way of feeling more grounded in the body. And this is a lifelong practice, because as you have noticed for yourself, how we change so much in our moods. Anything can affect us. It can activate a history, a story of our past, and we engage in that thought pattern, and immediately we become reactive, we close down, and we become just whatever it is that story has been activated in us. So when there's an active memory in us, we just become that, and that's not all that we are. We are not our stories. We're not the shape that we have become because of our experiences. We are much more than that. We have that. We are awareness. We are presence. We are that presence that is kind, loving, and compassionate. And these thought patterns that are connecting through our fight, flight response, fight, flight, freeze response, when they engage, when they are active, is because we have fed some thought. So the more that we incorporate a daily practice, the more present, a daily practice of centering, of grounding, of sensing our bodies, the more we are being with ourselves in the moment. And we can notice then when these stories come up in us, and thoughts and our reactions come up, we have more awareness, and we are able to change it. So, it's like they say, we become what we practice. And so if we can incorporate a new way where we want to move towards, which is being more kind, loving, and compassionate beings, and not so reactive to others and to our environment and to what surrounds us, that we get upset and we charge at others and we blame others, then this is one way of doing this. And our bodies are the ones that store our stories. We just perceive everything first through our sense perception, through our whole body. And if we can be more connected to that sense perception, then we have more power to change it. We have more ability to be able to shift it. So this helps us to observe ourselves. Centering practice also helps us to notice tension in the body. Where are we holding tension? Sometimes our shoulders are all the way up here and we don't even realize it. So the more we notice it, I can bring these down. So in a centering practice, you bring awareness, you bring attention. And where attention goes, energy flows. So you bring attention and your breath to any part of your body, and you begin to loosen it up and bring more ease and lightness into that area of the body. So observing ourselves through the centering practice, it helps us to notice tension, to notice our reaction to ourselves, what's happening within us, and how we may be reacting to our environment or to others. We get to see what is. We get to see what's real, what's in the moment, not through our filters of our stories. When we have a active memory, a story that gets activated because let's say somebody said something to me, and all of a sudden my mind goes like, why did they say that? That's not right. That's not true. And they're talking bad to me, or, they shouldn't be talking to me. So we go on and on and on with the story instead of reactive, being more responsive. It's like, what did you mean by that? So we're not able to have clear communication when we're under reaction. We have reaction and instead of response, where it's like, what did you mean by that? So when we are grounded and centered, we are able to ask questions instead of reacting, and then that doesn't get us anywhere. It only creates more separation. We have one thought here, and if we get to see what thoughts are in the way, what stories, and we get to see, I'm in a story, how can I put this story here? It's an active memory of my past. Then I get to see more clearly the other person, and not that they're attacking me, but it's whatever it is that they're asking us in that moment. We get to ask them back and clarify the communication. So that's another way that this can be really helpful to. So seeing the why of a practice can help us to see it not as another thing to do, but as something that can support us in a deeper way to be more open, present, and connected. Another aspect of practices supporting us through change is the attention to what's present. I was just saying, what matters to us, what matters to you, what you care about the most. Sometimes we care so much about something, but our reactions don't allow us to get closer to someone or clarify a situation, because we separate ourselves because we think we're right and they're wrong, and we just don't see what's present, what is important, and what can I do, and how can I respond so that I can attend to what matters most: the connection, the clarification of the communication, and the results of what is it that I want to achieve in this relationship with someone or something or whatever it is that's happening. So somatic practice of being centered and grounded in the body is a lifelong practice, as you can see, because we're constantly changing and changing our moods and changing all of that. So, and energy follows attention. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. Just this practice. If later you can make some comments even after you watch the video, and we can have discussions around this theme of practices and centering, and the importance that somatic practices bring centering in our bodies, can support us through change, and to be more in harmony with with what's happening. So now to close this, I'm gonna have a little poem for you as well. So here it is. It's and this did not have an author. So anyways, the poem is "We Do What We Can." Thoughts, images. What to do, I ask. More thoughts show up. Which one to listen to, I ask. So many thoughts come and go. Which one do I go with? Questions, questions, more questions, and confusion. We do what we can. A moment in time, one decision can change the course. I center, I breathe, I listen to take the right action. After so many thoughts and confusion, finally, a moment with space of being. The cycle of exhaustion has stopped. We do what we can. Isn't that beautiful? We do what we can. We do what we can. Thoughts, images. What to do, I ask. More thoughts show up. Which one do I listen to? I ask. So many thoughts come and go. Which one do I go with? Questions, questions, more questions, and confusion. We do what we can. A moment in time, one decision can change the course through practices, through self-awareness, can help us in decisions and responding, and that can be amazing change and change the course of so much in our relationships. So I center, I breathe, I listen to take the right action. After so many thoughts and confusion, finally, a moment with space of being. The cycle of exhaustion has stopped. We do what we can. It's beautiful. And it goes right along with what I was just talking about. So thank you. Thank you for watching the video and participating. And you can write your comments below the video. And I look forward to seeing you next week for our 4th week. Take care and have a good week.